In this lecture, we are going to start with the nuclear shell model. So we have done the liquid drop model. In the liquid drop model, the main failure was that the liquid drop model was not able to explain the magic numbers. So there are certain nuclei which are present in the nature with the proton or neutron number. If their proton or neutron number is equal to 2, 8, 20, 28, 50, 82 and 126. So if the proton or the neutron number is any of these numbers, then that nuclei, it shows extra stability as compared to its neighbors. So these magic numbers were not explained by the liquid drop model. So then came the nuclear shell model. So this model, it successfully explained the stability of the nuclei with magic numbers. And what was the assumption which was made by the nuclear shell model? So the analogy was taken from the electronic shells, the shells of the electrons which are present around the nucleus. So similarity was taken from that case, that as the electrons, when they complete an electronic shell, then that element is extra stable, and that extra stable elements are inert gases, because in inert gases the electronic shells are completely full. So therefore inert gases, they do not react with any other element easily. So this analogy was taken, same analogy, it was taken in the nuclear shell model, that the magic numbers that are appearing, that is the numbers 2, 8, 20, 28, 50, 82 and 126, these magic numbers, they arise due to the shell closure inside the nucleus. So it was assumed that every nucleon, it revolves in a shell, and as it revolves in a shell, so it will have a definite energy, and when these shells are completely filled, in that case the nucleus is extra stable. So magic numbers, they were explained by the nuclear shell model as when the magic number, when the neutron or the proton is equal to any of the magic numbers, then the shell inside the nucleus is closed. Therefore that nucleus with magic number proton or neutron is extra stable. So this was the assumption of the nuclear shell model. And as in the case of electrons which are revolving around the nucleus, so those electrons, they revolve in definite orbits, and that electrons, they experiences the Coulomb potential due to the nucleus. So the electrons which are revolving around the nucleus, they experience the potential which is the Coulomb potential of the nucleus. And on solving the Schrodinger wave equation, as you have done in the hydrogen atom in quantum mechanics, so when you solve the hydrogen atom using the Schrodinger wave equation, there you put the value of the expression of the potential, which is the Coulomb potential, and then you solve the Schrodinger wave equation, so you get the various energy levels of the electrons. Similar procedure will be done in the nuclear shell model. So in this model also, we assume that every nucleon is supposed to have a definite energy state. So the electrons, as the electrons, they have definite energy state, so every nucleon is supposed to have a definite energy state, and it moves independently of another nucleons. Then it is assumed that the motion of a single nucleon inside the nucleus is governed by a potential. So as we have said, the electrons, they revolve around the nucleus, and the motion of the electron around the nucleus is determined by the Coulomb potential. Similarly, the motion of a single nucleon inside the nucleus is governed by the potential, which this potential, it is caused by all of the other nucleons. So in case of electrons, the potential is caused by the nucleus around which this electron is revolving, whereas inside the nucleus, this potential, it is caused by all of the other nucleons. So all the rest of the nucleons, they influence a single nucleon. So the potential on this single nucleon, it is caused by all of the other nucleons, and this potential, it is the average effect of all other nucleons on a single nucleon. So this average potential, it will be same for all the nucleons, means every nucleon inside the nucleus will experience almost same potential, and that potential is because of the all because of the influence of all other nucleons. Now the question arises, what is the kind of potential which is experienced by the nucleon? So here we have been saying that potential is experienced by a nucleon. So now what is the form of this potential? As in the case of electrons, the potential is a Coulomb potential. So we can insert that Coulomb potential in Schrödinger wave equation, and on solving the Schrödinger wave equation we get the expression of energy. So various energy levels are obtained in case of electrons. Now the question is, what is the kind of potential which is experienced by a nucleon? So various assumptions were made earlier. It was assumed that the potential is, first of all, it was assumed that the potential is infinite well potential, that is below some radius the potential is equal to 0, and after some length the potential it goes to infinity. So this potential it is called as infinite well potential. So the boundaries of these potentials they go to infinity, and inside the boundaries the potential is equal to 0. So this is the infinite well potential. And the second potential which was assumed was that it can be harmonic oscillator well potential. Harmonic oscillator well potential is given by this expression, half m omega square r square. So at any distance from the center of the nucleus, what will be the potential? It will be given by this form. So the first step in developing the shell model is the choice of the potential. So we want to see what is the kind of potential, and we begin by considering two potentials for which we will solve the Schrödinger equation. So similar will be the procedure as in the case of hydrogen atom. You solve the Schrödinger equation for the electron, and then you find the various energy levels. In this case also we will do the same. Now here we will not solve the Schrödinger equation, we will not exactly solve it, we will just write its result. So using this potential, first potential and second potential, we will find the various energy states. First of all, we will consider that the nucleon inside the nucleus, it is experiencing infinite well potential. Now infinite well potential is 0 below capital R. We have set a particular distance capital R or radius capital R. So the below this radius the potential is equal to 0, and above this radius the potential goes to infinity, which is shown by this diagram. So this is R is equal to 0, or you can say this is the center of the nucleus, and small r is equal to capital R, this is the radius of the nucleus. So below this radius, or you can say inside the nucleus, the potential experienced by the nucleon is equal to 0, and outside the nucleus the potential it goes to infinity. So the wave function that we will use, the wave function, it has two main parts. First is the radial part and another is the angular part. So this you have already studied in quantum mechanics. So the wave function for any particle, so it depends upon the radial, then theta and phi, so polar angle and the azimuthal angle. And this wave function it can be written in the form of radial part, which is given by either capital R, or in some books it is also written by u of r divided by small r. So this is the radial part of the wave function of the nucleon. So now over here we are talking about the nucleon, and times this angular part. So this is the radial part of the wave function and this is the angular part, and this depends upon theta and phi, and these are called as spherical harmonics. So these you have already seen in the case of hydrogen atom when you are solving the Schrödinger wave equation. So this y and m, these are called as spherical harmonics. Now when you will put this expression of psi in the Schrödinger wave equation, so the radial part of the equation it comes out to be, this is just the radial part. So this comes out to be minus h cut square by 2m times d square u by dr square plus potential which the nucleon is experiencing plus this angular momentum term L into L plus 1 h cut square by 2m r square times the radial part is equal to energy times the radial. Energy times the u wave function. So this is the form of the Schrodinger wave equation that we are going to use, and this is the same equation that you will get in case of hydrogen atom. So in quantum mechanics you might have seen an equation just like this. So in this, what we want to see is what is this potential. Here we have assumed that the potential is infinite well potential. So for small r less than the radius of the nucleus, the potential is equal to 0. So this equation will become minus h square by 2m times d square u by dr square plus, now the potential for the distance less than that of the radius, the potential is equal to 0, so this term will be equal to 0. So you will get these two terms. So potential you will put equal to 0 and other terms they will remain as it is. So now when you will solve this radial part of the Schrodinger wave equation, so on solving this equation various energy levels are obtained. So when you will solve this Schrodinger equation, you will get an expression of energy as you get the expression of energy in case of hydrogen atom. So there also you get an expression of energy, so here also you will get a particular expression of energy. So various energy levels they are obtained for the nucleons if they experience this potential, and the energy levels they are, so the various levels are obtained in case of the infinite well potential. So the first level that comes out is the 1s. So this is similar to that of the electronic configuration where the first level is 1s, then is 2s, then 2p, then and so on, you get the various shells. But in the case of nucleons, their levels they come out to be, first level comes out to be 1s, another level it comes out to be 1p, 1d, 2s, 1f, 2p. So you can just remember up to 2p. So for your exam point of view, you can just remember few levels, only up to 6 to 7 levels you can remember. So first is 1s, then is 1p, 1d, 2s, 1f, 2p. So in this case, the energy gap between 1s and 1p is very large, so you can say there is a shell closure. So this is another shell and this is another shell because the difference in energy is very large. So we can say this is one shell, this is another shell, and after this also again there is a very high energy gap. So this is another shell, but the next level, that is the 2s level, is close to 1d level. So these two levels they will make one shell. So these two levels combined they will make a one shell, and after that again 1f is at a very high energy, so that will make another individual shell. So after that also 2p is also at a very high energy, so this will be also another shell. So the shell where the shell is completed, it is shown by arrow sign. So here the gap is very high, so this is one shell, this is another shell, then again the gap is high which is shown by this arrow. So these two levels, there is no arrow which is shown over here, which means these two levels they form one shell. Then again there is energy band, there is again energy gap, high energy gap, so this is another shell, again this is another shell. So the levels that we get is, first lowest level is one shell, then 1p, 1d, 2s, 1f, 2p. So these levels you have to remember for your exam. Now for all these cases the value of L is small l. For S, L is equal to 0, P, L is equal to 1, then for D it is equal to 2, for S is equal to 0, for F is equal to 3, for P is equal to 1. Now the total number of nucleons that can be present. Now in one S shell, the number of nucleons that can be present are equal to 2. So number of protons, let's say total number of protons that can be present in one S are equal to 2. Then in one P, total number of protons will be equal to 6. Then in 1d, total number of protons will be equal to 10. So this is same as that of the case of electrons. So in S we get two protons or neutrons, and in P you can fill 6 protons, in D you can fill 10 protons, in S again you can fill 2 protons, in F you can fill 14 protons, and in P again you can insert 6 protons. So this is same as if these are the number of protons, so same number of neutrons can also be filled. So 2 neutrons can also be filled here, then 6 neutrons can be filled, then 10 neutrons, and so on. So we are just writing for a single nucleon. Either it can be a proton or it can be a neutron. So up to this level 2 protons will be filled. So let's say we are talking about protons. So in this level 2 protons have filled. So in the first shell there are 2 protons. So the first shell closure, it occurs at 2 protons, and then in the next shell 6 protons are possible, or you can say 6 nucleons are possible. So after this shell, after this second shell, the total number of nucleons below this shell closure will be equal to 6 plus 2 will be equal to 8. So the first shell there will be 2 protons, then 6 protons, 10 protons, or you can say nucleons. 2 nucleons, 6 nucleons, 10 nucleons, again 2 nucleons, then in F you can fill 14 nucleons, in P you can fill 6 nucleons, then the total number of nucleons. So this is the first shell, this is the second shell, this is the third shell. So in the first shell the total number of nucleons that have been filled is equal to 2, then up to the second shell the total number of nucleons that have been filled will be equal to 6 plus 2 is equal to 8. Then in the third shell 1D, the total number of nucleons that have been filled are equal to will be equal to 18, that is 10 plus 6 plus 2. Then in 2S shell the number of nucleons that have been filled will be equal to 20. Then in this shell of 1F, so in this shell the total number of nucleons that have been filled till this shell they are equal to 34. So 14 plus 2 plus 10 plus 6 plus 2, that will give you 34. So 2 is a magic number. So total number of nucleons. So the first shell closure it occurs at 2 nucleons, second shell closure occurs at 8 nucleons, then third shell closure it occurs at 20, because here 2s and 1d they make up a one shell. So there will be 20 nucleons in the third shell closure, but at the fourth shell closure there are 34 nucleons, whereas 34 is not a magic number. Now 2 is a magic number, 8 is a magic number, 20 is a magic number, whereas this 34 it is not a magic number. So this infinite well potential it was also inadequate to explain the higher magic numbers. So therefore this potential it was also rejected, that if we use infinite well potential inside the nucleus, then the energy levels that we get they are not able to explain the magic numbers that we get in nature. So therefore another potential was thought, and that was the harmonic well potential. Next, harmonic oscillator well potential. It was assumed that every nucleon inside the nucleus it experiences this potential, and this potential is given by the form half m omega square r square. So now again the procedure will be same. We will substitute this potential in the Schrodinger wave equation. So in the Schrodinger wave equation here we had V of r. So this equation you can take from the last page that we have seen, that the potential over here was V of r. So now we are considering the harmonic oscillator potential. So instead of V of r we will just insert this expression of potential, and on solving this potential, using this potential, on solving this Schrodinger wave equation, we will get the expression of energy, and on solving this oscillator, harmonic oscillator potential, the expression of energy it comes out to be 2n plus L plus 3 by 2 times h cut omega. So this expression over here you will have to remember, because we will not solve the whole Schrodinger wave equation, we are just writing the result on solving the Schrodinger wave equation. So energy will come out to be equal to 2n plus L plus 3 by 2 h cut omega. Now n, it will take values from 0, 1 to 3, and L will also take values from 0, 1 to 3 and so on. So 2n plus L, this will be an integer. 2n plus L will become an integer capital N, and capital N, it will take values again from 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. So capital N, it is equal to 2n plus L. So capital N is equal to 2n plus L. So now first, when the value of n is equal to 0, so for n is equal to 0, small n should be 0 and L should also be equal to 0. Then for capital N is equal to 1, n should be equal to 0 and L should be equal to 1. So in that case, capital N will come out to be equal to 1 for the combination of n is equal to 0 and L is equal to 1. Then in the case of capital N is equal to 2. For capital N is equal to 2, either n is 1 and L is 0. In that case, n will come out to be equal to 2, or small n is equal to 0 and small l is equal to 2. In that case also, capital N will come out to be equal to 2. So you will get two combinations of n and l. First, n is equal to 1 and L is equal to 0, and other is n is equal to 0 and L is equal to 2. Now for capital N is equal to 3. For capital N is equal to 3, for this capital N is equal to 3, either n is equal to 1 and L is also equal to 1. So n is equal to 1 and L is also equal to 1. Then another combination is, for capital N is equal to 3, n is equal to 0 and L is equal to 3. So this is the second combination to make capital N is equal to 3. Similarly, you will get the combinations for n and L to make capital N is equal to 4, then to make capital N is equal to 5 and so on. So you can see that here you will get this level is represented by, this is the first level, and this will have energy of 3 by 2 h cut omega because n is equal to 0, and for this level energy will be equal to 1 plus 3 by 2 h cut omega. For n is equal to 2, these two levels, they will be degenerate levels and they both will have the same energy. Similarly, these both levels, they will also have the same energy. Similarly, for n is equal to 4, you will get 3 combinations. So all those 3 levels, they will be degenerate, that is, they will have same energy. Now n is equal to 0 and L is equal to 0, it is represented by 1s. Then small n is equal to 0, L is equal to 1, it is represented by 1p. Now n is equal to 1, L is equal to 0, it is represented by 2s. N is equal to 0 and L is equal to 2, it is represented by 1d. So 2s and 1d, they will make a 1 level. So first lowest level is 1s, which is shown over here. Then the second level is 1d. Then these two levels, they are degenerate, that is 2s and 1d. Then the second, this another level over here, n is equal to 1 and L is equal to 1. And n is equal to 0, L is equal to 3. So this 2p and 1f level, they will both be degenerate levels and they will make the another level. Similarly, you will get another more levels as you will increase the value of capital N. So this is how you get the various shells in case of the harmonic oscillator well potential. But in this, the first level, it will contain 2 nucleons. Then second level, so first level 2 nucleons can be accommodated, that is either 2 protons and 2 neutrons. Then in 1p 6 protons and 6 neutrons can be accommodated. In 2s and 1d, now in 2s 2 nucleons will be accommodated, in 1d 10 nucleons can be accommodated. So total 12 nucleons can be accommodated in this level. Then in 2p 6 nucleons can be accommodated, and in 1f 12 nucleons can be accommodated. So total 12 plus 6 will be 18. So 18 nucleons can be accommodated. Now total number of nucleons below this shell is equal to 2. Then total number of nucleons below this shell is equal to 6 plus 2, 8. So total nucleons. So this second shell closes at 8. Then the third shell, it closes at 8 plus 12, 20. Then the fourth shell, it closes at 20 plus 18, 38. So here also you can see the magic number 38. So this is not a magic number, 2 is a magic number, 8 is a magic number, 20 is a magic number, and 38 it is not a magic number. So therefore the potential harmonic oscillator well potential, it was also rejected. This potential also could not explain all the magic numbers. As a first step to improve the model, so there is a need to improve this model. So we have been using different types of potentials and we are solving Schrodinger wave equations, and then we are obtaining the various levels. But this technique is not useful of changing the nature of the potential. So we have been changing the potential. So now the first step is to improve the model. So we will try to choose a more realistic potential. So these are the imaginary potentials, like the square well potential. In that case the potential it goes to infinity. In this case also, as r will approach to infinity, the potential will also approach to infinity. But that is not a realistic potential, because if the potential is infinity at the boundaries, then it will be impossible for the nucleons to get out of the nucleus. So if the potential or the barrier is infinite at the boundaries, so nucleons will not be able to come out of that nucleus. So this is a very unrealistic picture. Nucleons, they do come out of the nucleus, so means the potential it does not goes to infinity. So we need to improve this potential. We need to take a more realistic potential. The problem it might be that the potential goes to infinity, therefore it would be impossible to take the nucleons out of the nucleus, and this is an unrealistic picture. So the another realistic potential was thought, which is shown by this diagram, that potential it is equal to minus V0 up to some distance, and then it smoothly goes to zero potential, and for r, small r goes to infinity, this potential will go to 0. So this condition of potential goes to infinity, this problem it has been solved by using this potential, and this potential it is given a special name, which is Woods-Saxon potential. So this is a more realistic form of the shell model potential, and it is given by the formula of this potential is minus V0 divided by 1 plus exponential of r minus capital R divided by small a. So this capital R, it is the mean radius. So this is the mean radius. So now again what we will do is we will use this potential and solve the Schrodinger wave equation, and then we will obtain the various energy levels, and then we will check if those energy levels they are able to explain the magic numbers.